Hi, my name is Mr. Ellison, and today in my classroom we're going to talk about adding and subtracting mixed numbers. Now I know everyone out there is just as interested and excited about doing mixed numbers as I am, so we're going to get started today and we're going to talk about what a mixed number is. First, I'd like to say that a mixed number is a number like so. It has a whole number and it also has a fraction. Like, for instance, 1/2. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this mixed number and we're going to do an example. We're going to add a mixed number with another mixed number. Now, let's take, for instance, 5.5, and we're going to put up there 2 1/3. Now, looking at these two mixed numbers right off, we know that they can't be added together for a simple reason. Look at the fractions. And the fractions, we all know about fractions. When you add and subtract fractions, you must have a like denominator. And as you can see, this 1/2 and this 1/3, the denominators are not the same. So we have to find a denominator that's going to be the same. So let's do this. Let's do it this way. We're going to take our 1/2 and we're going to take our 1/3, and the operation is going to be plus. Because whenever you do add mixed numbers, you're not only adding the whole numbers together, but you're also adding the fractions together as well. Now, this is a way that I've been teaching my students. I've taught them how to find the least common denominator by finding the least common multiple of the two numbers in the denominator. Let me show you how that works. Now we have our 2, and now we're going to put our 2 down here, and we've got our 3, and that's our other denominator. Now we're going to take these two numbers and we're going to find the multiples of those two numbers. Now let's first find the multiples of 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. And 2 times 4 is 8. Now let's go down and find the multiples of 3. We can do 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Now we've already gone far enough here. We know that the least common multiple of these two numbers is going to be 6. So what we can do is we can draw our little division bars and we can put 6. Now conveniently, while we're working with these fractions, we're going to forget that we have some whole numbers, okay? And we're going to use our trusty sticky notes to cover them up. Just like that, and we're going to cover up the 2. Now let's continue with our adding and our subtracting the fractions to find a common denominators. Now, to go from 1/2 to 6, we had to multiply by some number, and that number was 3. We multiply this denominator by 3 to get 6. So what we do in the denominator, we want to definitely do in the numerator. So we're going to multiply the numerator by 3. So 1 times 3 gives us 3. Let's go ahead and do this. Times 3. And then times 3. Now 1/2 is the same thing as saying 3/6. Now let's go over here and look at this 1/3. Now in order to get from thirds to sixths, we had to multiply by a certain number. And that number is going to be 2. 3 times 2 gives us 6. Now what we did in the denominator, we're going to want to do it in the numerator. So let's multiply the numerator by 2. Multiply it 1 times 2, and it gives us 2. Now if you look on any fraction chart and go from 1/3 and go down to 6, you will see that 1/3 equals 2/6. Now we have two numbers, two fraction numbers that we can work with. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back over here to our previous problem and we're going to install these numbers in there. Now we're going to put our fraction bars right here like so. Now for 1/2, we converted 1/2 into 3/6. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 3/6. And then our 1/3, we converted 1/3 into 2/6. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2/6 and put it over here. Now, at this time, we're going to remember that we had those whole numbers, and we're going to take our trusty little sticky notes and we're going to take them off and put them over here. Now we had a 5. Now instead of 5 1/2, we have a new fraction with the whole number. Instead of 5 1/2, it's going to be 5 3/6. And instead of 2 1/3, we have 2 2/6. Now these numbers can easily be added together. So let's add them together, shall we? We have 3 plus 2, which is 5. And then we leave our denominators, we leave them the same. Now when you're adding numbers that are fractions, you always want to just add the numerators together, and you want to leave the denominator like it is. Now we've added these two fractions together. Now what we can do is we can add our whole numbers together. Now it's 5 plus 2 is 7. So 5 1/2 plus 2 1/3 is the same thing as saying 5 plus 3/6 plus 2 2/6. And our answer is going to be 7 5/6. Now let's try another one. Let's try a subtraction of mixed numbers. Now let's take this same number that we have, and the only little thing we're going to do about it is we're going to change the operation. And we're going to change it to a subtraction. Now, as far as this is concerned, the process is no different for subtraction than it is for addition. We're just going to follow the same steps. And what did we do the first time? In order to find these two fractions, their common denominators, we're going to use the least common multiple method. So the least common multiple of 2 and 3, we have 2 and 3, we know is obviously going to be 6. It's no different. So we have 6, we're going to put our 6 out here, and we know that 2 times 3 is 6, and we do the same thing on the top. We multiply it by 3 because it's an equal proportion. So 1 times 3 is 3. And then we bring our other division bar over here, and we turn it into sixths. And 1/3, remember we said the same thing as 1/3 is 2/6. So we're going to go 2/6. And, well, we didn't use our trusty sticky notes because we didn't need to, because we already know what we need to do. We need to take these 5, and it's 5 3/6 now instead of 5 1/2. And it's 2 2/6 instead of 2 1/3. All that happened was the fraction changed. It's just proportionally different. But these two numbers are the same as those two numbers. We just haven't reduced these numbers yet. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put our adding and subtracting bar on the bottom, and we're going to subtract. Now, remember what I said about adding and subtracting fractions. We only add and subtract the numerators, and we leave the denominators the same. So we have our 3 minus 2, and it gives us 1. And then we leave our 6th. And then we want to subtract the whole numbers. 5 minus 2, which gives us 3. Now the reason I use the least common multiple method is the least common multiple, it may take a little bit more work and it's a little bit more of a step, but it's easier for you to be able to find the least common denominator. For some kids it really helps. And there's also other methods out there, but I find the least common multiple method one of the easier methods to use. But this is how you add and subtract mixed numbers. Thank you for coming into my class and learning today how to add and subtract mixed numbers. I look forward to seeing you again. Have a wonderful day.